Hey, if you've ever wondered how to have the correct mindset to achieve maximum success in business, stick around and watch today's video through until the very end, as I'm about to share with you two critical distinctions between the business mindset and the employee mindset, the business owner mindset, how the two are different, and most importantly, how you need to mold your mindset to achieve maximum success in business. With that said, if this is your first episode, my name is Misha Wilson, and over the course of the last few years, I've built an online business that has now done over $15 million in total sales. I've coached literally thousands of people in the online world, and I've seen quite a few people with the right mindset and quite a few people with the wrong mindset, and I've seen the different things that hold people back. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you how to overcome the two most common obstacles that people face when trying to go ahead and get started with their online business. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Welcome to the Misha Wilson Show, where we show you how to create massive success online so you can enjoy the lifestyle of your wildest dreams. All right, so what we're going to be talking about here today is, once again, the kind of two distinctions between the employee mindset and the business mindset that I see more than anything else in working with clients, and most importantly, how to overcome them so that you can have success in business. So the first thing that you have to understand is that, fortunately or unfortunately, I would say unfortunately, literally from the time you're born in today's society, you're conditioned to be a certain way. All right, and if you look at the entire education system as a whole really conditions you to be an employee, right? If you look at the origins of the education system, it was really designed as a means to create a certain type of worker who would fit in to kind of like an assembly line style of business and create the employee that would then work the assembly lines way back when the education system was originally formed. And so it doesn't necessarily teach you how to think critically. It doesn't necessarily teach you the skill sets that you need to succeed in business by any stretch of the imagination. And in my opinion, it's just a huge waste of time in today's modern society. But with that still said, we still have to understand that it's there. Most of us have gone through it. And as a result, you're conditioned one way or another. If you've gone through it, you've been conditioned to be an employee. And so when you get started in the online world, one of the biggest obstacles that you're going to face is very simply overcoming the, prior already existing conditioning you currently have, just to be able to operate as an entrepreneur operates, so that you can get the result that you're looking to get, that the entrepreneur would get. So again, understand it's not necessarily your fault. There's a bunch of different conditioning mechanisms in the world that you don't have control over, that you might have had pushed upon you. But with that said, it is up to you in order to realize it, understand that you have been conditioned, and then make the decision to change, your conditioning moving forward so that you can get a different result, a better result, and the result that ultimately you are after. So the first thing that I see so many of my clients kind of, deal with and not be able to overcome is overcoming the paradigm of realizing that in entrepreneurship, you do not get paid for time invested. All right, so there's two types of people in the online world. There's the type of people who literally don't want to work at all and don't want to do anything with their business, and they spend about 12 minutes a day trying to build their business, and that's obviously the wrong mindset. But then there's a different group of people who are completely and totally okay with doing the work, are completely and totally attached, to putting in the hours, and kind of more than anything have a bias towards trying to just, put in raw hours, thinking that in just putting in raw hours, they will get the big result that they want to get. And if you look at, once again, as an employee, how are you paid? You're paid usually based on an hourly, pay rate. Sometimes there's a scale based on performance. Sometimes there's bonuses. Sometimes there's, compensation bonuses, etc. But really at the core level of, being an employee, you are paid on an hourly basis. Where with the entrepreneurship game, very simply put, you are paid for one thing and one thing only. You're paid to produce results. If you spend 6 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 12 hours a day working your business, but you don't get any results, even though you spent the 6, the 9, the 12 hours a day working your business, if you don't get the result, ultimately you do not get paid. All right, really how this whole kind of, trap and the conditioning of getting paid on an hourly rate holds people back is twofold. The first thing that people tend to get stuck with is they don't realize that in entrepreneurship, when you're first getting started, there is a period of time that you have to put in so many hours just kind of into learning your craft, optimizing your craft, getting better at what you're doing, learning skill sets, and everything in between that goes into getting a business up and off the ground. You have to put in so many hours where essentially you don't get paid anything for the hours that you invest up front, right? It truly is an investment. But then after you've put in so many hours of learning the skill sets, refining your skill sets, executing, practicing, getting your business off the ground, and really everything that goes into getting your business off the ground, sooner or later, you'll hit a certain point where after you've put in all of these hours, where maybe you've been making, 25 cents an hour, kind of, if you were to break down an hourly pay scale kind of rate, at a certain point in time, your skill sets catch up to, all the work that you've been putting in, and very quickly you can grow a business to the multiple six, multiple seven-figure mark, depending obviously on which skill sets you learn over here. And then when you're up here, you'll get paid kind of out of proportion to the amount of hours you actually put in. So down here, you're putting in hundreds of hours not making anything. And then once you get your business up to a certain point, like for myself personally, I know that I could, if I didn't want to grow the business, if I didn't want to scale the business, if I just kind of wanted to let the business be exactly where it currently is, I wouldn't have to work 12 hours a day. I wouldn't have to grind away. I wouldn't have to invest countless hours into the business. I could just kind of let the business cruise along with where the business currently is, and we'd pull in many millions of dollars in sales each and every single year. And so firstly, people get stuck because they're not willing to invest all of the hours needed down here without getting compensated really well, realizing that in investing the hours, essentially, you're kind of investing the hours for a future payday. All right, so firstly, understand that. And then secondly, when it comes to just kind of the hours versus results paradigm shift that you need to make, you have to understand that in business, as an entrepreneur, not every single hour invested is an equal hour invested. And what I mean is that in the entrepreneurship world, again, you're not getting paid on an hourly rate. So there are literally hundreds of activities that you can be executing upon. You can be, doing keyword research. You can be optimizing your blog. You can be making your, logo look a little bit fancier. You can be writing email follow-up campaigns. You can be setting up new offers. You can be creating new offers. You can be writing sales copy. You can be, shooting videos just like this. There are 1,001 different activities that you can be executing upon when it comes to your business. And when it comes to getting results, certain activities on that list will get you a bigger result than the other activities on that list. And it comes down to the 80-20 rule, all right? 20% of your activities will go ahead and drive 80% of your results in your business. And so what you want to do when you're first getting started is you want to understand, okay, I do not get paid based on time, right? I get paid based on results. Based on that fact, what I need to do is I need to realize that I'm going to put in some time at the very beginning and not get much of any result. But what I want to do when I'm putting in that time at the very beginning is, instead of just putting in that time kind of everywhere in my business, I want to identify the 20% of activities that drive the 80% of results that have the highest impact on my overall growth. And I want to put in all of my effort, all of my energy, and all of my focus into those activities, because if I execute upon those activities, those will get me to my result faster. All right, now what are those activities? That might be a video for another day. Let me know in the comment section below if you'd like me to do a follow-up video on what the highest impact items are for you to execute upon when you're first getting your business off the ground. But for now, just know the first big thing that people struggle with is shifting from getting paid on an hourly rate to getting paid for results. And those are really the two traps people fall into. Either A, they're not willing to put in the time, the effort, the energy, or they put in too much time, too much effort, too much energy on the wrong activities, which gets them zero result, right? Now, the second big employee versus entrepreneur mindset trap that I see people get into is the very simple fact that people want to get paid like an entrepreneur while taking the risks of an employee. Right? And that's just very simply not the name of the game. Literally, one of the definitions of an entrepreneur is someone who will take bigger risks but get a bigger reward as a result when starting a business. And so you have to understand that part of entrepreneurship, inherently, there's risk involved in entrepreneurship. Now, I'm not telling you to take dumb risks, right? I'm not telling you to subscribe to the philosophy of, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. The truth is that the greater the risk, the greater the probability that something will go wrong. So what you have to do as an entrepreneur is you have to be okay with risk. You have to embrace risk. You have to understand that there's always risk in entrepreneurship, whether it be a competitor comes out and takes you down, whether it be you don't necessarily have your stuff together when buying traffic and you lose money with traffic campaigns, whether it be you don't have the right team in place, you don't have the right culture in place so that your team isn't necessarily executing right, and so you lose money because your team isn't executing correctly. Maybe it's a compliance risk, right? There are 1,001 different risks in entrepreneurship, and that's just kind of part of it. And so instead of completely and totally avoiding risk, which most people do, which is very much the employee thing to do, what we need to get really good at as entrepreneurs is we need to get really good at managing risk and understanding that we want to take risks, but we want to take risks where if something goes wrong, we don't, go completely and totally upside down, right? We want to take calculated risks that, it's not the huge risk, huge reward style of thinking. We want to take calculated risks over the course of a period of time that when those things go right, have a high upside, but if they go wrong, have some downside, but not as big of a downside as the risk you might take that would completely and totally kill the business, right? And so understand that there will always be risk if you are in business, if you want to be profitable, if you want to grow your business, if you want to have, any impact on the people who you want to have an impact on, if you want to be number one in your marketplace, if you want to grow your business to be the dominant force that you want it to be, there will always be risk, but your job as the entrepreneur is to look at the risk, calculate the risk, manage the risk, mitigate the risk, and only take risks that have an upside, right? So that when you do it and it works, there's an upside benefit. But if it doesn't work, you aren't completely and totally crippled and essentially put out of business. So those are the two things that I see, hold more people back than anything else. Once again, completely and totally shying away from risks. Understand you want to manage them. You don't want to run away from them. And then secondly, getting stuck on the thought process of just getting paid hourly. You have to break out of that. You have to be okay with getting paid based on results. And you have to own the fact that as an entrepreneur, you will get paid based on results and then go out and produce the results that you're capable of producing. So with that said, I hope you got a ton of value out of this video. If you did, as always, let me know what your biggest takeaway was in the comments section below. Don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon notification button so that you're notified when I do more videos just like this. And until next time, over and out.